Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rewind and Reflect, where we believe in the universal truth that there is no such thing as coincidences or mistakes. And we're here to share our stories about that with you. And my name is Deb Miller.
Hi, everybody. I am Susan Doyle. Nice to see you, Deb.
You too. I've got my little ear pods in, and that was a big fiasco for us old people trying to figure out if they worked, how do they work, where do I plug them in, what's happening, why aren't they working? I don't hear you. Do you hear me? It was a big thing.
I am still clearing my throat because I was laughing so hard. I was crying. Then I got like all hot and
Yeah.
sticky, and oh my God, I was wheezing, trying to breathe.
I
All at
actually
the same
added a
time.
little snort in there in my laugh because
Oh,
I was laughing so
God
hard.
bless.
It should not be this difficult. It really shouldn't,
No,
but it is. And we figure it out like anything, everything in life, we figure out when we're
I
challenged
have
with
to tell
something.
you, I am patting myself on the back, speaking of technology, because yours truly right here,
Hmm.
with a little help from her husband, I got to give him a little bit of credit, installed or hooked up a sound bar
Oh,
and a wireless subwoofer to our
whoa.
television in the living room. So our living room is on the smaller side and the TV's mounted to the wall. So like
Yeah.
the volume coming out of the TV gets sort of like
Yeah.
muffled into the
Yeah.
wall, right? So we've been wanting to get a sound bar. Long story short, we bought something at Best Buy. So we had like a credit, like they give you like money back for spending
Hmm.
money,
Okay. Yeah.
which
Why
is,
not? What? Just give me this
I
product
don't know.
cheaper.
I don't know, but we basically got the sound bar for free.
Okay.
With your purchase of like $18,000, you get,
Thousand.
I'm
Yes.
kidding. We did not spend $18,000, but so, and we've been wanting to do it. And so we finally was like, okay, well, basically it's free. So let's just get it. Right.
Yeah.
So the box comes and I'm like, I'm not going to let this beat me. And we did it.
Good for
And it
you.
sounds phenomenal, by the way. But
Not
anyway.
only would I have let it beat me, I would have crawled in the fetal position and said, no, I would have been like,
Oh my
anything,
God.
not just,
So
that's great.
when we're
Good.
in the store buying stuff like that, we literally say to the salesperson, "Okay, we are old.
Yeah.
Is this actually doable?"
Yeah.
It kind of elicits a laugh. Then they say it is, and I would say 50% of the time they're right.
Only 50% of the
Well, I
time.
mean, look, what about your phone? You
Listen,
just got a new
I
iPhone.
know, I know, I know. It is. And Hunter, my son, I think some of you, maybe I've brought it up on this before, but anyways, he's the Genius Bar guy at Apple, right? So you think, and he's insisted I get an Apple phone for years and years and years. And I am 100% convinced that if Apple people tried a Droid, they would be like, oh my God, this is so much easier, makes so much more sense. But because Apple made themselves like, we're the best, everybody has to have the best. Everybody thinks things are less than Apple quality, but they're not. So, anyways, Hunter gifts me this phone, which was lovely. He got it my favorite color pink and everything, which is great. And he sets it up and he gets it all set up. And then, of course, I get home and I have millions of questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? Where's this? Where's that? And so what he does is he sends me links to YouTube videos and he says with the text saying watch till the end. So basically, like, because he knows me enough to be like, I get halfway through, I'm like, I still don't get it. And then I want him to do it for me. But he's no.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what is the even point? You won't even help me with this. But I'm getting there. I have friends that are just lovely and so kind and patient. And they show me, like I'm a 6-year-old, how to do what I'm asking to do. And I'm getting there.
Well, I was just about to say, everybody needs to rent a 6-year-old when you need
Hmm.
help with your technology.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, they're smarter than I
Ay,
am.
ay, ay.
Anyway, so what have
That's
you been up to the past couple weeks?
Well, let's see. Very hot and humid here,
Hmm.
which I love. And I was we've had some pretty good like offline conversations, right? And you know, I remember when we started, you came up with the idea, let's do a podcast. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
great, why not, right? And we really thought it would be first of all, it's very cathartic for me, and I hope it is for you and for others
Mm-hmm.
who are
Mm-hmm.
watching. And you know, I would say, I would assume that the majority of the people that listen or watch are women,
Mm-hmm.
probably our age, probably friends of ours, or people that we've had, like either me in my classes or training, and you and your 12-step or your nonprofit work. And you know, like when I was, I don't know, 15 years younger and younger than that, you know, like I would just hear women more often than not, probably on television, saying, like, you get to a certain age and you're just like, enough,
Mm-hmm.
enough already. I'm not going to hold my tongue. I'm going to do what I want, and all these things. And so, you know, you and I have had these conversations that the universe has been sending us people, right,
Mm-hmm.
who are feeling and acting the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not it's because we put this podcast on, I don't really know. I mean, I'd like to think that we sort of have at least given people, several people, permission to basically say, you know what, like I'm too old to, you know, worry about X, Y, and Z, whatever I
Mm-hmm.
used to worry about when I was, you know, in my 30s and 20s and 40s. And I just think it's interesting that you know, the things that I would hear when I was younger sort of have come true. And, you know, we've both had some pretty significant um, conversations with people our age. And there's like these underlying themes, there's these
Mm.
underlying commonalities that is, I did everything right. I followed the rules. I provided, fill in the blank. For me, it was always like I kept a clean house. I kept a job. I raised the kids. I had a meal on every table. Every single piece of laundry was folded, all the things. And like I was still at the end of the day in this box, angry as can be,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Or, you know, you hear, or for you, I mean, you know, we were talking about it a little bit before, you know, we got online. You kept you were the mother and the housewife, and you kept everything, and your ex-husband still stepped out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that we get to a part of our life where a stage in our life where we stop protecting ourselves from people seeing really what's going on inside. It doesn't matter what happens is we shift from being like, I want the outsides to look really pretty and nobody to see the insides. But we get to a part in our life where we're like, no, I need to speak my truth. I need to tell others, what happened, why it happened, and how I survived it so that they can do the same. And once I wrote the book, that was really like my big release. It was like I wrote that book, man, and I put it all in there. I mean, there's more to put in it, but that's for book number 2 or 3, whatever. But it's like I really just put it all out there, like the messiness of it all for people to read, people that I know and people that I don't know. And then it was so liberating because so many people, and I don't know if it's because they read the book or they're listening to the podcast or whatever, but the amount of people that now approach me in such a different way, whether they're friends or strangers or friends from the past or new friends or whatever, our conversations are so different now. So
Yeah.
different. It's like they just want to just shed it all and be like, I don't want to carry this with me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happened. And I'm still confused at why my husband or my kids or whatever it was caused me so much pain after I did everything for them or in the right way or whatever that might be.
Yeah, you can kind of fill in the blank. You can say spouse, children, parents, friends,
Boss,
like you can
boss,
boss,
yeah.
you can fill in the blank of whatever that or multiple things are. There's a commonality there is you're right. I mean, you really just hit on the head, and I actually just wrote it down, is you get to a certain point where you want to live from the inside out rather than the outside in.
Yes, absolutely.
And here's what I'm going to say is when you start living like that, it's infectious. And the
Mm,
people that are around you can feel that energy, and it makes the other person feel or grant themselves permission
yeah,
live that same way. And so I feel like what happens is they try it out on people like you and I who have decided to live this way, right?
right,
They
right,
try it
right.
out. And then when they see how good it makes them feel, it's a ripple effect that
Yeah,
they go and live that way. And then they attract more people who want to live that way and be that way and release. I mean, it's really all about connection, right? I
yeah.
mean, we established that a long time ago. One of my favorite things that came out of your mouth is we're just walking each other
To
home.
their home. Yeah,
And what that means to me is we all just really want to connect and live an
yes,
authentic life. And the way to do that is from the inside out, not the outside in.
that's right. And you want to walk home with people who are kind to you,
Mm-hmm.
and I think especially during this time of social media and people posting pictures of like, look at how great this is, and my
Yeah.
kids, it's really hard. It's so hard because I
It's really
remember,
hard to
yes.
disseminate between reality and fiction.
Well, I just remember, and I know I've said this before, but sitting in the hospital with Hunter and being like, not even knowing if he was going to survive. And that kid didn't have a breath of fresh air for 18 consecutive days, never even left his hospital room to go in the hallway. Like, and I'm looking, and it's July, and I'm looking on social media, and everybody's on their boats and their vacations and doing their thing. And that was amazing and lovely. But I could not help, and I wasn't in a relationship. It was like, it was very tough, right? So I just remember feeling like really sad about that. Like I just wanted to have that for my son, that life and that freedom and that happiness. And it's not where we were. We were in a very trying place.
Mm.
And so I'm not saying that people who post things on Facebook and on social and Instagram and social media are like making shit up. But I understand it can be very painful for somebody to see something when they're not in that situation. And it's not a jealousy thing. It's not. It's not like I wasn't jealous. I was just sad for my son,
Mhm.
and um Kevin has always been a big like live life to the fullest, travel, do all the things.
He's
And
amazing.
and
I have to tell you, he is amazing.
he loves to post things on social media about it. And I remember when he and I were first dating, we had like a thing. I was like, don't do that. It makes people feel bad if they can't do it this way. Because I remember feeling that way. Like, don't, it makes people feel bad that their life isn't like this. And he said, no, Deb, I want to encourage people that to live this life, like live it and share it, because I know that people might look at it and be like, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it, and I'm going to do it. And this looks amazing, and we're doing it. And I was from the other thought process, like, no, don't put all that out there because you're going to make people feel bad. And I get it. And a lot of people have like taken the trip to wherever because they've seen the pictures and been like, if you can do it, I can do it, And so but back to
How
our
many
original.
people has he transformed into eating meatloaf on Mondays?
Oh my God, Meatloaf Monday. Yes, probably a lot.
I'm kidding.
And
I'm
Taco
kidding.
Tuesdays.
I'm kidding,
No,
but he is just, I mean, when he framed it up that way, he's right.
he is right. But
He's
I came
right.
I came from a different train of thought where I was like, I couldn't do it, or I didn't think I could. I know I can. I'm doing it now, living that free life, but it's like I didn't think I could, and I didn't want people to feel bad. But
Mm-hmm.
his whole so anyways, back to our original conversation. I remember just this past actually it was yesterday. I was out with some friends and I met a new friend, a new woman who had my ear most of the day because I never met this woman before. She's a little bit older than I am, maybe by, I think she's, yeah, probably about 10 years or so. And for whatever reason, she wanted to sit next to me all day long and tell me her life story from, and all about her kids and all about her relationships. And the first husband, who was the alcoholic, who she loved very much, but had to leave because he wasn't going to get well with her still in his life. Okay. Then the second husband who passed away of cancer. And then the third husband who she had a lot of difficulty with. And she said, you know, I don't understand. I did it. I did everything for him. Like I ran the house. I had the meals. I did this. I'm running the business. And he still decided to leave me for XYZ. And it got us into this really big conversation about, as women, we really feel like we have to carry all the weight, do all the things. And so when something goes sideways, I will speak for myself. When my husband started cheating and doing all the things, I blamed myself. I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I didn't cook well enough. I didn't this, I didn't that. Never mind the fact that I had an infant son at home that, I was taking care of. He and my husband was traveling all the time. Never looked at it like that. It was always like, I guess I could have done more because why would he want something different than me? There must be something in me that's missing. When the bottom line was, he was in such disarray in his own mind, trying to fill voids that he couldn't fill.
Yeah, it rarely has anything to do with the partner
Exactly.
and more to do with the person who stepped out,
So why
right?
is it so hard for women to really
I don't
understand
know.
that?
I don't know. I've given this a lot of thought because part of me feels as though women who are our age, plus or minus 5 to 10 years, we're really like, we've talked about this before. We did not have a blueprint of a working mom.
Mm,
The majority of our moms stayed home.
hmm
Somewhere it switched like, okay, all of us went to college, we want a job or a career, right? But that traditional mom role of cleaning, cooking, kids, lawn, all that stuff didn't change. We just added the
hmm
career to that laundry list of things, no
hmm
pun intended, right? And then
Yeah.
and so for me, what I found is I lost myself. So my husband didn't step out of our marriage, at least I don't think he, I mean, I don't think he did. Um, but the marriage crumbled
hmm
because I I didn't give any energy to the relationship.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because I was so like, have to take care of the house, have to take care of the kids. And oh, by the way, I work 50 hours a week
Mm-hmm.
and make 50 to 60% of the money that comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, again, it rarely had it, and so my marriage failed, and I'm sure he didn't blame himself. It was like, so I feel like I stepped out on myself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I stepped out on myself, like I didn't hold true to who I was and what I wanted to be. Right. And so,
But here's the thing, like, and you ended that marriage and you were very angry about a lot of things that were happening.
right,
Granted, it wasn't another woman involved, but it was still the lack of something. Okay.
right,
And so your ex, like for instance, because you were the one who ended the marriage and you were the one who was kind of up in arms about the way everything was falling apart or whatever it might, like, he may have blamed himself, like I wasn't enough for her, I didn't do all the things that she wanted me to do, but the inside, it was, you were the unhappy one trying to
right,
fill a void,
right,
so you filled it with, you had a very busy life and you filled it with all sorts of things, and then you were like, at the end of the day, it was you were resentful because of what was lacking on his part, right? But it was because maybe your expectations were like, you weren't happy and you were trying to find that happiness. And
right.
so when it wasn't there in your marriage, you ended it and you walked out,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah. I don't
it's
know why. I guess at the end of the bottom line is I don't know why women have a tendency to blame themselves for everything.
everything, everything. I mean,
Everything.
I wasn't working. My job was to raise, to take care of the baby and do the house and have the dinners, and I was very happy to do that. That's what I always wanted to do. So I thought,
Mhm.
right? So I thought.
Mhm.
But so I really carried that burden of, it must be my personality, it must be my body, it must be my looks, it must be my lack of this, that, the other thing. But quite honestly, it was what was going on in his head.
Mhm.
And I know that now because, I've created a life for myself that I know who I am and I know my worth and I know my value, and I am not going to put up with any of that, anything less
Right.
than what I deserve, right? So,
Right.
but this, these people, these women who I've been talking to a lot lately, it's just like they look back and go, why? And there's so much anger and resentment because they felt that they played by all the rules.
Well, yeah.
And they
I mean,
did,
that's where
they
my anger
did.
came
Yeah.
from, for sure.
And they still lost, but again, there's no there's no such thing as coincidence or mistakes. We
Right.
are connecting with these women for a reason because we're putting out there on this podcast, we're being vulnerable and authentic. And so we're attracting women to us that are vulnerable and
So I
authentic.
also think when you release that, right? When you start living from the inside out and authentically, you carry yourself differently too. I mean,
Yeah.
so I know for me, when I was really in it, my shoulders were hunched over, I
Mm,
was bound up tighter than a drum. I also had a lot of muscle on me as a protection mechanism
yeah.
from the outside world, right? And then when I started to go through the transformation, like I walk around with my shoulders back now,
Mm-hmm.
away from my ears, chest open, heart space
Mm-hmm.
first. The majority of the time, there's still situations that I go in a little protected, only because out of obligation, there's people that I still have to spend time with who have given me caution,
Sure.
right? So I
That's
don't
totally
physically
understandable.
hunch over, but I'm not quite leading in with my heart like I
Mm-hmm.
do normally, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, I think the way people, and I'm going to say women just because I am one and I have a tendency to study women more than I do men, which might be
Mm-hmm.
my problem. Maybe I should study men more to be able to figure it out. Um, is people, I think women want that quiet confidence. They want that ability to walk into a room, out their front door, leading with their heart first. Like that's what really has made us women,
Yeah,
right? That's what has made us women. That is what has made us nurturers and empathetic and what happens is over time it gets covered up and we get pulled in.
of course.
And
We
when
were
another
protecting
woman
ourselves.
sees somebody in a situation like you, they're attracted to that and they want it.
Yeah,
And so I think what happens is they automatically they know what they have to do, but they need to be around somebody safe to be able to do it.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
I think what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the feedback I get so often about my book is, wow, that was really brave of you to write. And
Yeah.
and to me immediately I go, um, why, like, brave? Should I should I be ashamed of something? Like I feel like being like I really but I don't feel like it was bravery. I just feel like it was my duty as somebody who went through a hard time to show others that you can make it through. But I guess
Right. But did you feel that way 15 years ago or 10 years ago?
I felt that way. Yeah, I did. I always did. The only time I felt shame about it was when I was in it.
No, but I mean, did you feel like 10 years ago that this was your duty? Or did you start by sharing your story in AA?
Oh yeah, like it makes it easier when you share your story
Yeah.
in a group setting like that, and everybody can relate to it. So you immediately know that you're not on your own. You immediately
Hmm.
know that there are lots of people who can identify and connect with the story. So that makes it easier. But I never felt like the only time I really felt when I was writing the book that I was like, oh, I want to be very careful about this because I don't want to hurt anybody, was when I was writing about my ex-husband. But I did, speak. I I approached his parents and told them what I was doing, and there was no pushback about it. So um, I said, I got to
I
tell
think
my
you
truth.
protected him. I think you protected him very well in the story and you told the facts.
I,
You
I,
didn't
mm.
necessarily bring in the emotion that you were feeling towards him. You
Right,
told the
right, right,
facts.
right. I told the facts and I said, but the facts can be very painful and
Hmm.
nobody wants to look at their son and be like, my son did that to you, or my son, like, I never wanted anybody to, I didn't want his parents to feel shame, but they didn't, they knew exactly who he was, and so it was fine. But I always felt that I needed to tell my truth about that, and also I needed to tell the struggle of when Hunter was sick, because there's parents that are with their sick children, and
Hmm.
I just needed to tell that part. And so anyways, but back to what we were talking about, and the fact that because we're putting ourselves out there and we're being so authentic and honest and just whatever, it's like I'm getting so many people coming to me and
Mm-hmm.
being like sharing stuff with me that they have held for so long. And to me, that is incredibly beautiful to me. That's such a gift
It
that they
is.
feel like they can open up for once and for all, not take on the burden of, I did something wrong and that's why he went out on me, or I did something wrong and that's why my kids aren't speaking to me, or whatever that may be. I mean, granted, we all have to take responsibility for,
Sure.
and I will say that what I've learned in AA is that whenever there's a fight between two people or discord, you both have a part in that, even though you think you don't. And I will tell you an example. Like, I used to think, if I was the perfect wife, if I never raised my voice, if I always did everything, then um when he misbehaved, I would say, I didn't do anything wrong. And the fight would be like, no, you're the one doing all the wrong things. I haven't done anything wrong. But that was a game. My part in that was a game that I was playing. I was
Mm-hmm.
setting him up to fuck up on something so I could point my finger and say, look at how perfect I am. This has nothing to do with me. This is you.
Right.
I was
Right.
setting him up every single time. And so if I just would be like, nip it in the bud when something would happen and have a conversation about it, instead of keeping score and being like, when this fight happens, which is going to happen,
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to go boop, 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 and I did nothing wrong, and that now listen, when people are in situations where they're physically abused or emotionally abused or sexually abused, they that person plays no part in that. Nobody should go through that. No, there's never anybody that is blamed for that ever.
I agree with you.
But what ends up happening is when they can't work through that, release it, let it go for themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
they hold on to it, and it becomes
Mm-hmm.
such a big resentment that they end up not being able to live their best life, then it's their responsibility, because now you've got a situation that was of no fault of your own, but it's hurting you. It continues to hurt you. So we need to work on that. We need to figure out a way for you to move past that, not ever forget it, but
Right.
release it somehow so that you are not burdened and hurt by that continually. And that's the part that you're responsible for. So
Mm-hmm.
there's
Agreed.
always like, it's always a two-way street, even when you don't want it to be.
Well, you can take number one, you can take responsibility and still let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you can say, and I think to your point in regards to what, wanting everything to be perfect so you're not blamed, I think, what came to my mind is your partner just wants you to be authentically who you are. The world just wants you to be
Mm-hmm.
authentically who you are. And when you play that game and when you put on the mask and when you inauthentically take the role,
Mm-hmm. You take the role so there's no blame put on you.
it's a recipe for
It
disaster.
is. It is. And listen, it's really difficult because I wanted that marriage. I wanted everybody to see that I did nothing wrong. It was all him. And that's why, and that wasn't fair either,
Right.
because I
Right.
did do things that were wrong. I mean, I started drinking, I started drugging, I started doing a lot that was wrong.
Yeah.
And I wanted it all blamed on him, and so anyways, but it's, again, back to the whole, like, we're getting off topic, but
Not really.
I love that people, that women, and I don't think we get a lot of men listeners, but that's okay. But we're hearing a lot from women who are listening to this podcast. And not only is it bringing them, you know, comfort and information, and it just, I'm not I'm not going to hide anymore, or I haven't
Mhm.
hidden in a long time. And I don't want anybody else to do that either, because there's nothing that can't be worked through. There's no shame is the worst thing that you can carry with you. It just debilitates you. And I lived in
Yeah.
shame. I was so shameful and embarrassed for so many years. I wanted my outside world to look so the way that I thought everybody else's outside and inside world was, and it wasn't. And I'm not comparing anymore. It's over. It's done. It's over,
Yeah,
Johnny.
comparison, I read somewhere, comparison is the thief of joy,
It is.
so, and I agree with you. I mean, listen, I sleep better, I feel better, when I just put it out there. Like,
Yeah,
this is, I struggled. I mean, and it's just nice when women say something, or women, or whatever they hear from another
mm-hmm,
woman who has gone through it and maybe a little farther down the path,
mm-hmm.
gives them permission or gives them the strength to do the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, really, we just all are wired and want to connect.
we
That's
do,
really what it
especially,
is. And I
yeah.
mean, and that I think was the hardest lesson, the hardest thing that I learned, because I just always thought that I didn't need anybody. I could go through this life by myself, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, if you did one thing to cross me, you know, I will never speak to you again. And there were people who I never spoke to again. And it was like, and the only person that I was robbing was myself of connection
Yes.
with, like, great human beings.
Yes. I just had this vision of you wearing a shirt that just says fuck off on it. Like, I don't know why, but when you said that, I was like, I could totally have seen you wearing that.
Yeah.
Just fuck off.
Yeah.
I want nothing from you. You're not getting
Yeah.
anything from me. And yeah, I gotcha, but it's
Yeah.
true. We do
Yeah.
we're the only ones who suffer. So I know we have to wrap it up, but I am going to do a plug. I'm plugging myself.
Amen. Plug it, baby. Plug it.
Um, so okay, my book was released over a year ago, and I have sadly proven to myself that I really suck at marketing and marketing myself. Like, I should, anyways, I should have this whole time been like, just doing social media plugs and getting, I haven't, I'm not good at it. So I hired somebody who's
Okay.
redoing my website and going to be helping me with some social media, just kind of some content, because in hopes of getting even more speaking engagements and getting out there in front of people. So it will be done probably within a week, maybe two. So when this episode airs, it might have already launched. Um, but
So
anyways,
we'll include the website in our social media posts.
yes, yes, when it's ready. But I am going to I will have a little bit of a, woohoo kind of thing.
Of course.
And I just, I'm asking the audience here because I think the people that listen to us really do care about us as much as we care about them. And I tend to be very insecure about putting myself out there like this. So just take a look. If you could all be just, you know, be your authentic self. Let me know what you think. Just don't be mean. There's photographs of me. She did this photo
See, I'm going to
shoot.
tell you this. When people start living authentically, there is no meanness.
Yeah, I know, but
Like, really, I mean, people who are mean and hateful and rude are living behind a brick wall
mm,
and
mm-hmm,
are not living an authentic
mm-hmm,
existence.
mm-hmm,
They're not living open.
mm-hmm. I guess,
You know what
I
I
guess,
mean?
yes, but by doing this and making things more public and doing the TikTok and the threads and all that kind of stuff, I am opening myself up to a lot of people. And
Good for you.
but along with that comes people that, might not be the kindest. And I'm still working at getting my own confidence up. So, anywho, I'm confident it's going to go really well.
It
And,
is. It's going
and
to go the exact way that it is
yeah,
meant to go.
yes, exactly. Exactly. So,
And from those people and from the trolls or whatever, or the good people, you take, you just take, you make life lessons out of it,
yeah, you do.
you know?
And yeah, yep, 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 yep. So, anyways, that's that. I put it
That
out
is
there.
that, sis. Love you.
I love you all. Namaste, my friends. Be at peace in your heart. See you next time.
Bye-bye.